Bonjour à vous tous et bienvenue à ce 7e épisode de Romance Christmas. Mon nom est Raquel et j'espère que de votre côté, vous allez bien. Donc on commence à se rapprocher de plus en plus de la vraie personne qui a commis sa meurtre. On a une question de bruit qui s'est écoulée au courant du dernier épisode. Cette fameuse notion de tout le monde avait entendu des choses différentes, mais tout le monde avait en fait entendu la même chose, puisque c'était toutes des brides différentes de ce qui s'était passé, qu'on a pu recoller ensemble pour prouver que tout le monde finalement ne s'était pas trompé, et que c'était bel et bien une coalition de tout qui faisait en sorte que ça fonctionnait. Mais là, Sean n'a pas l'air bien dans son assiette, et il relance le tout sur le Chich. Le Chich n'a pas l'air bien dans son assiette, et non plus. Donc, c'est probablement jouer entre ces deux-là pour savoir qui est le meurtrier. On va bien le découvrir ensemble, je l'espère bien. Bon visionnement.
In fact, I heard two ringing. The first time, I entered to prepare the medicine. The second time, I didn't understand, but it still came in. Before I had the chance to ask the reason, I heard a loud sound from outside. By the way, when I first answered the bell, I only saw the Marquis sitting on the bed without the Marquis sitting on the bed without Marquis Arloc's presence. You didn't see the Marquis the first time? No, only the Marquis. Are you sure that he wasn't just hiding in a corner or someplace you didn't notice? I'm sure. Could you please tell me the exact situation when you entered the second time? I opened the door and saw Marquis Lunic and Mr. Solar seated together. He was breathing heavily, and he was sweating a great deal. Okay. So you heard two ringings, and came in the room twice. Whoops. Okay. Please testify again. Et c'est parti. In fact, I heard two ringing and answered twice. I prepared the medicine for the first time, but the Marquis wasn't in the room. The second time, I found the Marquis in the room, breathing heavily and sweating profusely. Before I had a chance to ask the reason, I heard the loud sound from outside. Hold on. Sean. Please calm down. Don't hurt the witness. As I step between Sean and Lunic, Sean sees the opportunity to retreat. Monsieur Detective, I order you to step aside. This is a personal matter. But which book should I quote to stop Lunic? Qu'est-ce que c'est ça? Moi, je peux savoir. Detective Code, Article 42, stipulates that detective must prevent armed witnesses caused by honest testimony. As a detective, I don't want my witnesses afraid to testify honestly because of intimidation or fear. His testimony is a lie. If you think he is lying, you can choose to tell the truth. Very well, I shall do as you ask. I'm listening. Indeed, I rang the bell twice. I didn't say so earlier because I didn't want my servant to become a suspect. I consider it recompense for 10 years of loyal services. But now that he has betrayed me, I will expose his lies sans pitié. He didn't come at all when I rang the bell the first time. He came in after I rang the bell the second time after some time. Okay. That's all I gotta be. Why do you think Sean betrayed you? His testimony doesn't add any truth and slanders my good name. Do you have any method to expose his lies? Are not my words enough? I accept that. Did you show up the first time? Sean didn't come in when you first rang? Oui. Why else would I need to ring again if he came? Maybe you were influenced by speculation? No. Late at the second time. Is your latest testimony true? Absolutely true. Without any exaggeration because of personal emotion? I swear upon my title. Didn't you want Sean to get suspected? Why didn't you lie the first time? As I said, I didn't wish my servant to become a suspect. If he's arrested, who will serve me? But Oui. I know I was wrong. Please continue your asking. Ask what? Please add what you mentioned to this money as you wish, Monsieur Detective. Please testify again. Indeed, I rang the bell twice. I did not say so earlier because I did not want my servant to become a suspect. Now I know I was wrong, but I didn't think about too much at that time. I consider it recompense for 10 years of loyal services. This testimony is absolutely a lie. I swear upon my title. When I first rang the bell, he didn't come, so I rang again. He came in after I rang the bell that the second time, after a while. I have no idea, but both the testimony are pretty weak. Even if I asked her to testify as Luna's wife, our testimony would be suspect at best. If testimony is all that we can rely on, then we will never find a solution. Perhaps we should see if there is anything at the scene that can contradict them. Well, we haven't discussed the problem of the lucky yet either. Now that the suspects are narrowed down again, I think I found a common point. Do you remember the moment the Marquis first arrived at the tavern? Ah, I nearly forgot. The melted snow had damaged the heel of my shoe. I guess we thought of something. What do you think? Which evidence is related to the memory? Non. Je pensais que c'est ça. What? I nearly forgot the melted snow had damaged the heel of my shoe. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à rapport avec son soulier? The scent is the blood. Ok, non. Non. Candle, non. L'écriture, non. Le key rack n'a aucun rapport avec ça. The notebook, non. The moment the key was stuck inside the door from beginning. Neither the players nor Heron had gone upstairs before the incident. Peter heard several small noises, loud noise, and a bell ring. Each room has two sets. No, no. Kane is a hack trained before death. No, what's the remaining to come? Sean smashed the door, opened by an actor. En quoi son soulier, le melted snow? C'est qui? Peut-être. The lock. I guess we thought of something. Which part of the lock? Haha! Which part of the lock is suspicious? Kane's door was shut? No. Kane's key was inside his room? No. Was sticky. The stickiness of the lock. Why? If my memory is right, the Marquise had ordered Shaun to re-glue the heels of her shoe. The capital's high-end shoemakers usually make shoes with a specific type of glue. Also, the glue is easy to dissolve with cold water. Those shoemakers still use it over anything else. Partly because no noble lady would be walking in water, but mostly because the glue has no odor to it. And at the wager that Shaun carries a jar of the stuff in case of an emergency. Oui, he does. The glue would explain why the door was stuck for no reason. Only a detective with your level of talent could find the connection between such things. That does include your nose. By the way, I can connect the clue, the lock, and the key. The sniffing. The lock and dagger smell alike. Well, the smell alone can be used as evidence, but it does give me an idea. The smell of the door lock and the key at the scene weren't the same. Now that I think about it, that means after. So the key in the door now is not the one we saw when the door was open. Impossible! What went wrong? Have you forgotten? The key cannot plug it into other rooms' lock. Every key is handmade by a good blacksmith. They look similar, but cannot be inserted into wrong locks. I know that, but you don't have to insert it. The only thing that matters is if it looks like it's inserted in. Looks like? I did see the key stuck in the lock. If you break the key in half, then stick the shaft in the lock with glue, then it wouldn't matter if it fit or not. Why, guess. The glue could be torn off. Ma chérie? Yes, but it would be quite difficult. If that's so, then I can tell who the murderer is with ease. With just one thing. You can prove yourself innocent. Show the key. It's simple. Take out your room keys and open the door. Let's begin with the most suspicious tree. I believe you're all anxious to prove your innocence. It's my pleasure. We should have done this much sooner. Indeed. Well... Take your keys and open the door one by one. Ladies first, mademoiselle. My pleasure, Mark. Elegant took her key and out and approached her door without hesitation. The key slid into the lock, turned, and the door opened. She is always so calm and certain. I dare say if she was the murderer, she'd be a terrifying culprit to face. Next, Marquis Arlock. If this can prove my innocence. Linux took out his key and approached his door, though his hand trembled slightly. The key missed the hole once or twice, and I could see the sweat begin to form in his fur. After several unsuccessful attempts, his wife stepped over to him, whispered something to him, and gutted his end. This time the key slipped easily into the keyhole and turned with a click, and Ludwig's shoulders slumped in relief. Now, the result is clear. Sean, it's yours. Well, we've all opened our doors, and now there's only Sean left. It must be him. If all three key works on their respective doors, it shows that Roman's hypothesis can stand. In other words, we will have to start over from the beginning. It is not foolish to jump so quickly to a conclusion. As we say, Sean, let's begin. Sean reached into his bag and froze. What? My key is missing. Maybe you should empty it to make sure. I don't think that will... Empty the bag. No! Lunix snatched the bag from Sean and dumped the content on the ground. A dozen copper coins, a silver coin, half of a key covered with glue, and a piece of blue crystal fell on the carpet. Sean staggered back against the wall, clutching his vest tightly with both hands, and looked around with wide eyes. I had already guessed earlier. C'est clair que c'était lui le suspect le plus potentiel, là, la manière qu'il suivait pis tout, là. Ça avait juste aucun sens. But, what about the loud noises? Those had to be chains falling, buddy. If I were the murderer, I wouldn't have had the time to kill him and prepare the medicine. The bell rang just after the noise of his collapse. I couldn't have had time to... No, This is all wrong. Let's go. Lunik just testified that he didn't come on time when he rang the bell. I was just a few seconds late. A few seconds couldn't buy me enough time to complete the tricks you made up, right? Tricks? Indeed, you were clever. What? For example, the loud noise. The sound of King's fell was not from King's falling body. What else could it be? Such loud noise must be the noise of a body falling down. I have two pieces of evidence to prove that the voice was not caused by King's fall. Firstly, which evidence could prove that the loud sound wasn't caused by King's body? Oh, fatal injury in the chest. King's pendant wasn't left. His hand was grabbing the dagger. Corpse was on the chair. King's corpse is in his room. He fell into the chair. Even if he collapsed back with no support at all, most of the impact would be cushioned by the chair. If he fell back like that, there wouldn't have been nearly enough noise. So, the sound of any object falling onto the ground was caused by something else. The second piece of evidence I want to present is the luggage. The suitcase in Sean's room. The luggage is heavy enough that it weighed as much as Kay. I mean, they're both extremely heavy. Throwing them around would be more than loud enough. So you killed Kane and went back to your own room. Own room. Voyons, excusez-moi. Une petite gorgée d'eau, Pebbles. So you killed Kane, then went back to your own room, to the suitcase, and rushed to the Marquis's room. If you made a noise in your room, you could easily reach the Marquis in time without arousing suspicion. Don't be ridiculous. Why would I kill someone I don't even know? We'll get to that. Quick Q&A. Click the moving icons to... Oh mon dieu. Ok. Oh boy, oui, c'est ça qui laguait quand on y allait dessus. On est avec la méthode. On peut pas y aller avec la méthode, on peut juste y aller avec le weapon. Quick, m'ont donné le choix. The little weapon is the dagger, of course. The murderer didn't cover this up. La méthode. Modus operandi. Here's how things played out. Did the kill reasoning? Arrange the occurrence chronologically from the top to bottom by dragging chips to each position. Yeah, right. Okay. The suspect stole tranquille. The suspect burst King's door open. The suspect blew half of the key to the door. The suspect replaced the key with King's. The suspect locked the door from outside. The suspect made a loud noise in his room. The suspect knocked the cup and candle to the floor. Whoa. Okay, fait que là, the key with King's, the suspect locked the door from outside. The suspect blew okay, burst King's open door, skate. Ok, fait que ça c'est la dernière chose qui s'est passée. Right? Fait que là, tu sais, si on fait juste ça. Ok, fait que le 2 il est pas bon. Ok, fait que là, pour le réarranger dans un ordre chronologique. Le suspect blew have the key to the door. The suspect replaced the key with King's. The suspect locked the door from outside. The suspect made a loud noise in his room. The suspect knocked the cup and the candle to the ground. Il y a même pas le meurtre. On a entendu un small noise. half of the key to the door. Ça, c'était à la toute fin. Élaborer. Élaborer de l'intérieur, right? Right? Il disait que c'était comme s'il l'avait barré de l'intérieur parce que la clé est à l'intérieur, mais il l'a barré réellement de l'extérieur. Pas l'avoir barré de l'intérieur, c'est casser la clé dedans. Non, c'est juste la manière que la clé a été changée contre right. Fait que ça, on y va de même. This is the sequence of events. Nice. Ok, good. C'est vraiment juste la clé qu'on cherchait. Suspect. C'est pas très clair. I think it's obvious the murderer is... Who is the murderer? Kane, il est mort. Sean. Sean. He had both the time and the motive. Nonsense! Be patient, I will explain the motive. Bon, maintenant le motive. Though Sean denied that he had met Kane before, one thing caught my attention. There's a blue crystal in Sean's bag, which looks like Kane's pendant. Kane had worn that pendant for as long as I know him. Maybe you two are old friends? No need to answer that. I think I know why you killed him. Why? Did you say that? Two old friends, reunited after many years of separation, but instead of a happy reunion, all you got was rage. Let me guess, it's all about betrayal. What are you talking about? For example, you promised that you would recommend Kane to the Marquis when you got the chance. Then he would finally achieve his dream of becoming a cook for the nobility. But it seems that you didn't keep the promise because you didn't think you'd ever see him again. Actually, if it weren't for the snowstorms, you two probably would never have crossed paths again. You committed the crime when Kane lost his temper. Let's begin. Case playback. Kane went upstairs after the diner and you followed him soon after. One of Kane's actions confused me at the time. Ok, il a jeté son pendentif. He had pulled off his pendant and was letting it hang from his hands. My guess is, I think Kane was sending a signal to someone. I recognize you. You noticed Kane's signal and follow him upstairs. You are talking to his room. And then the ring from the bell from Ludwich's room happened. That was the first bell ring. Kane mentioned your betrayal and knocked over the mug and candlestick. That's the crashing sound we heard. You felt endangered when Kane faced you, so you decided to strike first with your dagger. He collapsed into the chair without noise. You took Kane's key, then broke your own key and stuck it in the lock with some glue you used to fix Solar's shoes. You didn't pull out the dagger because you feared that blood would get on your clothes. After all, you only need to deny that the dagger was yours. Then you went out, locked the door from the outside, returned to your room, and made that noise by tossing the suitcase. The Marquis noticed you hadn't arrived. and rang the bell for a second time. You entered to serve just in time. After that, you pretended to be surprised and ran out. You smashed open the door, then exchanged the key you had stuck within the door with Kane's key. That is how it happened. Just admit it, Sean. You cannot escape my logic. Fine! I did it. Sean transverse pupil looked straight at me, and I couldn't see any emotion in his eyes. Whether it was sadness, fear, or despair, I couldn't tell. I didn't expect that, Peter. I was just scared. His appearance, panting, looming over me with those red eyes. He looked like he was going to... Sean's hands were shaking, grasping his sleeve tightly. But you're the one who struck the first and deadliest blow. According to the Yellow's code, whosoever murders another person shall be hanged. Oh my god, without special justification. I'm sorry, but your excuse is too weak to counter the punishment. I really don't want to be hanged. Isn't there any other option for me? I can't say no. Even if you wanted to exercise the right under the Helios Code. In fact, we are going to apply Helios Code. Even if we... In the event that the case cannot be immediately brought to trial, as long as there is a qualified detective present, a judgment may be pronounced under the detective's discretion. Even if... You will not escape judgment. Accept what you... Sarn, let me finish. As I was trying to say, according to the code, you have 10 minutes to make your peace. If you don't want to be hanged, do something. Like a confession? It depends on your definition of confession. Alright. Sean set his her key on the chair back, bowed his head, and meekly followed Sarn up the stairs. Il est en train de le battre en haut, lui, là. Suddenly, several loud noises came up from upstairs. What happened? I'm a little scared. Let me have a look. Open the door! Now! Sarn used his shoulder to batter up, open the door to Kane's room. What happened? Sean ran inside and jammed the door with something. Ah! The door swung open, knocking the nightstand aside. Sean leaned back against the chair where Kane was sitting, holding the dagger, sweating profusely. He clenched his teeth, closed his eyes, and thrust the dagger deep into his stomach. Thick blood gushed out around the blade and onto the handle, covering the fine carving in layers of crimson. Sean had used the same dagger to break the commandment of "Thou shalt not kill," but he also atoned for his crime with it. We just stood there and watched life slowly ebb from Sean's body. Ok, je m'attendais pas à ça, là. What the hell? What? Now we're in big trouble. When the snow stops, I need to go to the judiciary to testify. But first, we need to take care of Sean and Kane. Roman, take this up to my bedside. Sarn threw me the key to Kane's room, picked up the broken key, and stuck it into his pocket. Creevy, get Aaron up here and ask him if he could perform a funeral. But if he refused to perform funeral rite for a suicide, tell him Sean was hanged by me with Roman's permission. Okay. Aaron came upstairs with his rosary and his fire cross. I pulled down the ladder to the attic. The attic was dark. I started regretting leaving the candle downstairs. When my eyes adjusted to the darkness, I carefully walked around the trapdoor on the floor and hung the key on the key holder. I went back down to the corridor and met Sarn, dragging the body. Roman, help me drag Dan down to the yard. As long as they're kept outdoors, they won't rot in the freezing cold. Aaron's already recited scriptures for them. When the snow stops, I asked the church to give them a decent funeral. Well, dragging two step buddies, we went downstairs along with the spiral stairs. Should we leave the dagger here or pull it out?
On laisse dans la chambre. Okay.
Keep it. Just leave it there for the coroner to confirm. Right. Tarn opened the door and dragged Kane and Sean from the tavern. Maybe I'll go to sleep now. I went upstairs. All the doors are locked, except Kane's and Sean's.
T'as voté seul, pas de ex-aequo. En que t'as même pas voté. T'es comme, laisse-le là, je voterai pas. Ok, ça c'est drôle.
Everyone went to bed.
Oui, t'as oublié de peser sur Submit. Juste pour le fun, t'avais-tu changé ton vote, t'avais voté pour le prendre? Ça, c'est quand même très drôle. Non, c'était on le laisse. Ok, parfait. Fait que... c'est sûr au moins que c'était ça. C'est quand même très drôle. I need to go to bed, too. So, I probably can fall asleep. I locked the door, hid the key under the pillow, and then blew the candle off. Kane, I haven't seen you in a while. Je sais plus c'était quoi la voix que j'ai donnée, ça fait trop longtemps. Ah, yeah. Turns out you didn't forget me, Sean. Sure. So you merely forgot that promise you made, right? So sorry. I haven't had the chance to recommend you. No chance at all. Being the Marquis Valet doesn't bring you even a single chance to even mention my name. Sorry. Even if you didn't fulfill your promise, I still hope that we could keep in touch. Don't smash things! Just wait a moment! Don't be so angry! Even if you failed to keep your word, I always thought of you as a friend. Don't come near me! This is what I wanted to tell you after all, I can't tell. But you never gave me the chance. C'était Sean. C'était Sean. C'était Sean. Et c'était Sean. Wow. Ok. Faut dire que je m'en doutais pendant un petit bout avec le fait qu'il suivait bien gros pis tout, mais je m'attendais pas à cette conclusion-là, cette façon-là de décider d'avoir son châtiment et tout. Bref, c'est assez spécial. J'ai bien hâte de voir la suite parce que juste cette première affaire-là était assez excitante. Bien hâte de voir la suite. Entre-temps, si vous voulez voir l'action en live sur Twitch, vous allez avoir les liens juste ici. Sinon, vous pouvez toujours le retrouver dans la description de cette vidéo. Je vous souhaite de passer une excellente fin de journée ou une excellente fin de soirée, tout dépendant si ça s'applique à vous. Prenez soin de vous et à la prochaine. Bye bye.